What is jury nullification? Jury nullification describes a situation in which jurors refuse to convict a defendant even though they believe the state has proven guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It reflects the power jurors hold to stop an outcome they believe would be unjust. Jurors sometimes reach this result because they view the law as overly harsh or feel that applying it in the specific case would produce an unfair result. This concept highlights how jurors can act as a safeguard within the justice system, especially when they believe strict enforcement would conflict with broader community values. In New Jersey, criminal jury trials take place in the Superior Court, including those held at the Bergen County Justice Center in Hackensack. These cases operate under statewide rules and standardized jury instructions. Those instructions emphasize that jurors must decide cases based solely on the evidence and the law provided by the judge, even though jurors still retain the inherent power to acquit for any reason. Courts in New Jersey have noted that jury nullification is not a formal right. In a well-known case, the New Jersey Supreme Court recognized that jurors inevitably have the raw power to acquit, but judges do not encourage or explain nullification in their instructions. Jury nullification differs from traditional verdicts because it involves a decision based on conscience rather than strict analysis of the law and the evidence. In a typical verdict, jurors assess whether the prosecution met its burden. Nullification occurs when jurors instead focus on fairness, justice, or proportionality. Any not guilty verdict reached by a jury in a criminal case is final due to double jeopardy protections, and the state cannot appeal it. To understand how this process functions, it helps to look at what happens during deliberations. After hearing testimony, reviewing evidence, and receiving instructions on the law, jurors meet privately to determine whether the state proved each required element. It is during this confidential discussion that jurors may choose to acquit because they disagree with the law or its application. Judges do not mention nullification, but they cannot prevent it from occurring. Juries may choose to nullify for different reasons, such as when penalties seem too harsh for a particular offense, when jurors sympathize with motives behind an act, or when they believe a mandatory sentence would be disproportionate. The decision can be influenced by community perspectives, the circumstances of the defendant, or how jurors interpret the fairness of the law. Courts discourage open debate about nullification, but its possibility remains part of jury independence. Jury nullification also applies only to trial juries, not grand juries. A grand jury determines whether probable cause exists to issue an indictment and does not decide guilt or innocence. Because they do not render verdicts, nullification does not apply to them. Trial juries, however, must reach a unanimous verdict and therefore are the only juries capable of nullifying. Their decisions are shaped by standardized instructions used throughout New Jersey, which stress applying the law exactly as given. Nullification is different from a hung jury. A hung jury arises when jurors cannot unanimously agree after deliberation, leading to a mistrial. The prosecution may retry the case or pursue other options. Nullification, by contrast, ends the case entirely because it results in a unanimous not guilty verdict. Whether a jury might nullify depends on many factors, but New Jersey courts instruct jurors to follow the law as written. Judges may provide additional guidance if a jury reports difficulty reaching a decision, but they continue to remind jurors of their duty to apply the law and reach a verdict based only on the evidence. Understanding nullification helps explain the balance between legal rules and human judgment built into the justice system. Lustberg Law Offices, LLC represents individuals facing criminal charges throughout New Jersey and guides them through the realities of how juries evaluate cases. For assistance, contact Lustberg Law Offices, LLC at 201-880-5311 or visit 1 University Plaza Drive No. 212, Hackensack, New Jersey, 07601, United States.